Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to yet another TryHard Diablo 3 class guide. So we'll be going over the Demon Hunter and the 1.0.5 changes. We'll be covering a couple specs. We'll go over how to gear your Demon Hunter correctly, and just generally the patch notes and what they've changed with the class. Now let's get started with a couple specs. So I've actually swapped my main to my Demon Hunter this past week. I've been swapping my mains around a little bit, not because I'm bored of the game, just because I'm actually having more fun with other classes I'm playing. So yeah, so I'm pretty on the ball with my Demon Hunter right now. They're pretty fun, and yeah, so let's go over my favorite spec. Now, this spec is adjustable like any of my other specs I always go over. In terms of efficiency, I find this the most efficient by a long shot. I've tested tons of specs, and this is, I mean, in terms of monster power, or sorry, Paragon level farming, this is really quick and really efficient. So let's go over it. Now, you're going to want to use Hungering Arrow as your main attack with Spray of Teeth. Now, Spray of Teeth is only better than Devouring Arrow once you get around like 30% crit chance, which you should get instantly nowadays. It's not even a problem. So you should really be using the Spray of Teeth. Whenever you crit, it does 50% weapon damage in a big AoE. So it's nice, like when you run out of hatred for Ball Lightning, you're still doing good AoE damage, which is nice. And secondary, now this is my favorite skill by a long shot. It's Ball Lightning, Elemental Arrow. Ball Lightning, it shoots kind of just like in a straight line. It's hitting around the balls of lightning a couple times, and it's really good. Now, if you want to use any other kind of secondaries, lots of people are using Cluster Arrow for their secondary, but I really don't agree with that. Main reason is that when you're clearing trash, these are really bad for clearing trash in terms of like efficiency versus Ball Lightning. Like Loaded for Bear only hits a small area, then Cluster Bombs is stupid because it's like hard to aim, and if you miss, it's not hard to aim, but if you miss, you lose all your hatred on that attack. So Ball Lightning is just amazing. You should really try it out if you haven't. Now, obviously, you're going to want preparation in your build. I use Backup Plan, 30% chance to trigger preparation again. But Focus Mind is really good as well. I did use that for a little while. Reason being is it guaranteed gives you 45 discipline over 15 seconds. The only problem is if you're going to use that discipline or not. So Backup Plan, I like to take the chance now with the 30%. Sometimes it procs 2 or 3 times in a row, so it's pretty good. Then Vaults with Tumble, they did nerf Trial of Cinders. Or Trail of Cinder, sorry, but it's still good, but it's not worth the efficiency loss off of Tumble. Now, if you're on higher monster powers and the monsters are going to survive a bit longer, Trail of Cinders is still pretty good, but if you're like doing monster powers like 0 through 4, Tumble's going to be better for you. Your next Vault after using Vaults is reduced by 50% discipline, so it's good. Now, I don't use Smokescreen. I just avoid everything I can. If you get jailed and you're going to Smokescreen, chances are your Shadow Power is going to make you survive anyways. So using Smokescreen, in my opinion, was kind of a waste of time. I just use Shadow Power with Gloom. Once you get the kind of all resist and survivability, like I'm only on 350 all, and it's good. Like you don't need much more than that. Shadow Power should just be better than Smokescreen completely. I mean, if you're having problems avoiding things and stuff, then use Smokescreen with Lingering Fog. But yeah, it's up to you. Now, your 4th slot, this is completely adjustable. I'll go over what you can use instead of this, but in a minute. But I use Companion with Back Companion. Reason being is I constantly Ball Lightning, and when I'm Monster Power 2, you can actually run out of hatred against Elite Packs. So I like the Companion. It's a bit more extra damage as well, and the extra Ball Lightnings are good. Now, in terms of passive skills, normally I use Tactical Advantage like that. That's my passive skill setup. So if I'm farming Monster Power 0 for Paragon levels, which I have been doing quite a bit of, I use Tactical Advantage. Reason being, it gives you a lot of movement speed and a lot of mobility. Literally, I shoot like 1 Ball Lightning at a pack and then just start vaulting away before the Ball Lightnings even hit them, and then everything will die, and then I'm like a mile away. So that works out well. Now, Steady Aim obviously gives you your 20% damage when there's no enemies within 10 yards, which is key. I mean, 20% damage is huge. And then Archery is your 50% crit hit damage on crossbows, which I am using a crossbow. So it's probably the most efficient for farming like Monster Powers 0 through 4. Now, if you're doing Monster Powers 4 plus, monsters survive quite a bit longer. So you're going to want to use Night Stalker instead of Tactical Advantage. Reason being is you're not kind of vaulting around so much because the mobs are surviving so long. So you vault into a pack and then you're not using your movement speed because you're standing there killing them. So Night Stalker is the way to go. Reason being is your critical hits give you 1 discipline. Now since mobs survive so long, monster power is kind of like 4+, depending on your DPS obviously. Let's go over a couple variations of the build. Like I said, you can swap out Elemental Arrow for whatever you want. Chakrams a good choice nowadays with, I think it was where it does 2 chakrams, twin chakrams. That's really nice. Pretty efficient for like huge attacks in on levels, and I think it works well. The only downside is if you're against an elite pack, sometimes when they're in your face, so I don't use that anymore. But chakram's actually nice. Try it out. Now, if you're farming, actually, I'll show that in the second build. The second build is going to be kind of the Infernal Machine build that I wanted to show that I've been using. So I'll show why Rapid Fire is so good. Now, Rapid Fire is good, but not for farming, just normal trash. So yeah. Now, in terms of swapping out Companion, if you don't feel like you're running out of hatred, which you might not, I mean, I just spam Ball Lightning a lot, so I do. Rain of Vengeance is the way to go. I found Beastly Bombs to be the best. It does 20 Shadow Beast drop bombs for 245% weapon damage. It's really nice. I like it. It does a lot of damage. Everything else is good as well, but it's up to you what you use. But Rain of Vengeance is a good kind of variation to use. Now, again, if you don't really care about your hatred, you're not running out, you can use Cluster Arrow with like Loaded for Bear or something. Now, Loaded for Bear is really good for elite packs. Like on Monster Power 2, I literally like 2-shot some elite packs, so it's pretty nice. You can use Impale as well. Impale with the 100% extra crit damage is amazing. It does crazy damage and it will one-shot elites. But I mean, then again, it's up to your personal preference. And then the Sentries are good nowadays, but I couldn't really see you needing them if you're not doing like Monster Power 4+. And then the Sentry you wanted to use would be like the Spitfire turret. Does pretty good damage. And the Guardian turret is nice. If you're standing still, being mobile, that'll actually reduce damage taken on you by quite a bit. And you can have 2 turrets up now, so it's pretty hot. So yeah, guys, that's the first build. Let me know how you guys get on with it. It's pretty much the classic build I've been using forever, but I love it. I mean, I really think it's the most. You guys let me know what you think. Let's go on to the second build though. Alright, so the second build's more of like kind of a for fun thing, and it's for the Infernal Machine. So I've been doing like a lot of like 8 through 10 Monster Power Infernal Machine, and I was looking for a build that would be like really good sustained kind of single target, multi-target DPS. And this is the one I came up with, and it's pretty awesome actually. I'm really liking it, and it does really well in the Infernal Machine. So yeah, if you don't really do Infernal Machine, just skip to the next part of the video. But if you do, then yeah, this is it. So you look at the primary and you're probably like, wow, why are you using Entangling Shot? That's stupid. Like, you're hitting Gom. What? Like, that doesn't make sense. Reason being is the hatred regen off of Justice is Served. It's 6 per shot, and you get all of your hatred back in like 2 seconds. So that's not really important on your DPS. Now, Rapid Fire is where your DPS is coming from. You're literally spamming this probably about 80% of the time, and it does really good single target DPS. You would be surprised how good DPS this is, single target. Now, I'm spamming that. You can use a couple different things. That does the rockets for 35% damage. You can use High Velocity. So, like, if you're good at like positioning yourself between like the 2 bosses where it'll go through them, that'll be more DPS. But most of the time, they're not lined up, and getting them lined up on your screen you'd actually lose DPS moving. So Fire Support's what I go for. You can go for Withering Fire, but hatred regen isn't really a problem with this build. So the whole point of this build is like literally just spam grab. It's really fun. Now, I don't use Preparation here because the regen off of Night Stalker for Discipline, you don't need to use it, and you don't need to use Vault either because Infernal Machine doesn't require getting around that much and avoiding things. So I'm using Marked for Death with Mortal Enemy. That gives you 3 hatred on attacks made on the marked target. So your hatred regen is crazy with that. I wouldn't recommend using the other ones mainly because you need this for the hatred regen. Now, Sentry, you can use whatever Sentry you want. Reason I use Sentry in the Infernal Machine is because they're sitting there for their entire duration, and they're just constantly shooting the boss, and the DPS is really good. Now, I'm using Guardian Turret mainly because if you're on Monster Power 8 and 10, the bosses do hit hard, so if you're with people who aren't as geared, that 15% reduced damage is really nice. And you can have 2 of those down at a time, so you can cover quite a big area. 2 of those down is constantly, you know, DPS constantly, and they just won't die, so it's really good. You can use whatever you want, though. I mean, like, the rockets are a bit of extra DPS if your group doesn't need the reduction. The Tether, I wouldn't recommend it, and then the 1% life per second is okay, but yeah. So I'm using Guardian Turret, and then I'm using Shadow Power with Gloom. Reason being is you don't really need to avoid anything with Smokescreen in Infernal Machine. Just Shadow Power with Gloom will kind of, against Gom, not Gom, sorry, against Siegebreaker, you'll keep yourself up against the reflect damage with that perfectly. And like I said, Night Stalker will keep up your discipline like insanely. And then you want your Bat Companion with your companion with Bat Companion for the extra regen. So you're getting Hatred regen off of Mortal Enemy and Bat Companion, and your Hatred regen will be insane. You'll be able to spam Rapid Fire constantly, and when you run out of a Hatred, you literally just it takes a shot like maybe 3 times, and the DPS is good. You'd be surprised. Try it out. Okay, and now the passives, just a standard kind of straight DPS with Night Stalker. Night Stalker will give you that extra discipline for keeping up your shadow power in case you're getting bombarded by things and stuff like that. And then if you have the Natalia 4-set or whatever it is with the extra regen, and you don't need that discipline off Night Stalker, swap it in for Ballistics, because your Ballistics is upping the damage on your fire support, which is the homing rockets. So that's cool as well. You can swap it for whatever you want, really. I mean, like if you want Sharpshooter for that extra insane DPS for like your opening burst, then go for it. But I don't really like it. So yeah, guys, that's the second build, mainly for Infernal Machine. I wouldn't recommend farming with this, mainly because Rapid Fire kind of sucks for farming trash and stuff. Although, if you do want to use Rapid Fire in your main build, if you go High Velocity, it actually is okay for trash. The only problem is you have to activate it so often that the activation cost kind of drains your Hatred too much to make it efficient. But yeah, so that's the second build. Let me know how you guys get on with it in the Infernal Machine. And if you guys have different like cool Infernal Machine builds, link them to me in the comment section below, or like you can't really do that, so inbox them to me and I'll have a look at them, because it's I'm interested in you guys notice as well. So let's go on to gearing. Alright, so gearing your Demon Hunter's never been easier, really. It's always been kind of the same idea. You just want to maximize your DPS while maintaining some survivability. And when I say some survivability, I mean preferably if you're farming kind of anywhere from Monster Powers 2+, you're going to want about 30k health. I'm on 35 just because I'm doing kind of Monster Power 5 at the moment, and it is needed some of the times. So I'd recommend 30k plus. If you can get higher without sacrificing too much DPS, I mean, you can't go wrong. Now, all resist, I'm going to recommend nowhere below 300%. 350 was my sweet spot. Now, later on, towards Monster Powers like 6, etc., I'd probably recommend about 500, but that's not that hard to get. It's surprisingly easy to get. Now, let's actually have a look at the gear. I'll show you gear I'm using. This DPS is obviously with those talents in, just so you guys know. And yeah, I'll show you what I'm using, and just to give you an idea of what you should go for in your gear. And then yeah, so let's have a look. So I'm using a Manticore with 2 sockets. Now I'll go over kind of why I got this in a bit. Now, so that's the Manticore, 2 sockets, and then the Dead Man's Legacy as my offhand quiver, which is a pretty good one. And then you have your boots. Some of my gear, like since I swapped it from my monk, is still poison resist and all resist. So ignore the poison resist. That's not important. That means absolutely nothing to you. So let's quickly go over it all. Got Ina's legs, monk's belt again, poison resist, all resist. Oh, pop up there. And then Ina's chest, monk's gloves again, poison resist, as you can see. And shoulders, Val Wards with a high dex, physical resist on there. Again, monk's helm, poison resist, so ignore the poison resist. Again, poison resist. And Promise of Glory bracers, you can get high dex on those. And then Hellfire ring and just a random ring. Now, let's go over what you want on each slot. So the Manticore, like I was saying, you can get these fairly cheap now, and you can get a turn off sound effects. You can get a pretty good Manticore with 1 socket for a fair price. Like we're talking like 500k gold or something with almost 1000 DPS, or maybe it might be 2 million for 1000 DPS with 1 socket. Now, when you add the second socket in, that's when it gets a bit more expensive. When you add a second socket in, the value like triples, because obviously you can get that extra crit gem in it, which is equivalent to like 10k DPS pretty much. So if you're gonna use this, which is a good bow, I'd recommend it. Go for 1 socket if you can't afford 2. It's a pretty good one. Now, the life on hit I wouldn't recommend going for, but it's good. I mean, I'm not going to complain with it. I got it on there for a good price. So why not? I wouldn't recommend aiming for, like, searching for life on hit, though, because it doesn't really matter. You're keeping your life up with glue most of the time anyways. So that's the main hand. Always try to get dexterity on there as well, because the dex is huge for your DPS modifier. Now, Dead Man's Legacy, why I like this so much is because you get your core stats on there, and you get really high attack speed. Now, high attack speed, you can get up to 20% on it, which is amazing. Obviously, the price gets more expensive, 18% plus, but if you can afford it, why not? And then high dexterity, and then some vitality on there. High vitality is nice as well, because keeping hit points up is important also. And then you have your critical hit chance on there, and then I got elemental damage on there for my arrow, because that's my main attack, so you know, that's always a bonus. So that's a really good kind of offhand quiver you can get, and it's affordable. You can get really cheap ones, which are pretty good as well. So you can like get both that combo of weapon and quiver for like less than like 2 million gold, and they'll be good. Like you'll have a good kind of set. Not amazing, but it'll be decent. Now in terms of boots, go for high dexterity and run speed. If you can get all resistance on there and vitality, I'd definitely recommend it. Like I said, the poison resist is for my monk's gear, so I wouldn't worry about that. Overall, you're going to want to aim for the Natalia's boots, Natalia's bloodied footprints, or whatever they're called. That's what I'm going for, because they have high dex, high all resist, they have armor on there, they have everything you want, run speed, and it's part of the 2 set for Natalia's. So, but yeah, for now, just go for high dex, vitality, all resist, movement speed. That's pretty much what you want on boots. And now we'll move on to legs. I went for Ina's Temperance. Reason being is the set bonus is amazing, the 2 set. Obviously, you don't get your... The problem is with this, you don't get your all resist or vitality generally without it costing a crazy amount. So yeah, as you can see, got 2 sockets, good dex, attack speed, crit chance, and then it has the 2 set, which is dexterity, and that follows through on my chest. Now when you're going for the chest piece, the higher vitality and dexterity you go on the chest, the more expensive it's going to get. So this one, for example, was like not even 17 million or something, so that's a pretty good chest for that, what you're getting there, and it adds on to the 2 set as well. So yes, it is a monk set, but it's good for demon hunters, and I'd recommend using it because the 2 set gives you a lot of dexterity, like 2800 dex is really high. Now gloves, these aren't a good example of what gloves you should go for, but they kind of are. High dexterity, vitality, all resist are good on gloves, not necessary. It depends on what you're lacking. Now in terms of offensive stats, you want critical hit chance and critical hit damage, or critical hit chance and attack speed. If you can afford all 3, go for it. But if you can't, go for 1 or 2 or all 3 of them. It's up to your budget. Shoulders, I'd recommend Vile Ward. They're really good and they can be affordable. These ones weren't that expensive. High dexterity, high all resist. They have armor on there, like life per second, physical resist. I mean, all good stats. You use every single one of those. But if you can't afford a Vile Ward, just go for dexterity, vitality, all resist, if you can do it. Now, again, with the helm, like I said, yes, it has poison resist. Ignore that. You want high dexterity, high vitality, and all resist with critical hit chance on there. You always want critical hit chance on your helm. Reason being is obviously the modifier on your DPS. And then bracers, these can be pretty affordable. If you get lower dexterity, you can go for like 100 dexterity, 100 vitality, all resist, critical hit chance. But if you can't afford those, just go for high dex, high vite, all resist, and critical hit chance on your bracers. That's probably the best way to go on those. You can get the movement speed ones. I forget what they're called now. I used them on my barb. Whatever. I'll put a link here. I'll find out what it's called. But yeah, so that's pretty good. But if you're getting the movement speed from your legs anyways, you won't need it. Now in terms of rings, you want to aim for average damage, high dexterity, attack speed, and critical hit chance. And if you can swap out attack speed, you can go for critical hit damage. It's up to you. It's up to your preference. I like shooting fast. I like kiting a lot. So I like the attack speed. But if you guys want the critical hit damage and you think it's going to give you more damage, then go for it. But that's just what I go for. And then on the neck, same kind of idea. You can go for attack speed, but if you can get high crit damage on there, go for it. So anywhere from like 6% plus critical hit chance, 40% plus critical hit damage, and high dexterity is a pretty good neck. And then did I show the belt? I don't know. High dexterity, vitality, all resist, and life percentage is what you want on your belt. In terms of sets, there's an Ina's belt you can get, which is good. But yeah, it's up to you guys. Then Hellfire Ring is just completely random. That was a pretty good roll, I thought. Average damage, dexterity, and then attack speed and bonus experience is a nice little upgrade from my other one. I forget where it was. Yeah, it was like a 12k DPS upgrade from my other one, I think. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that about covers it for the gearing. I want to go over one quick thing. If you are farming at Infernal Machine and you do kind of have a couple of rings laying around, get one for your follower. That's like obviously my Barbarians one. I should probably swap it out for something different. But if you watch my my bonus experience, 71%, you actually gain 7% bonus experience when your follower gets a ring. So you're gaining almost 10% experience from your follower having that ring, and there are other items you can give your follower which do increase your experience. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I don't know if many people know about that, but I like it. So yeah, in terms of stats you want to aim for, you want my crit is actually quite low. Reason being is my crit on my rings and my helmet stuff isn't that high. Like I could pick up 2% there, 1.5% there, like 1% there. So your crit, you should probably aim for like 45 to 50%. And then if you're getting the Natalia's 4-set or 2-set, which I'm going for right now, you should be at like 55% crit. So when that gets higher, obviously I'm using my Enchantress as well, but when that gets higher, your discipline regen from Night Stalker gets really high. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that about covers it. So let's go on to the 1.0.5 patch notes and how they've affected the class. Okay, so in terms of 1.0.5 changes with the Demon Hunter class, not, there's a huge list of changes, nothing too hugely significant, other than the Trial of Cinders change, which was obviously huge. It went from 1,500 damage to 300%. So we'll just go over the list and just quickly discuss a couple of things. Now, they changed Ball of Shot. They gave the radius 7 yards to 14 yards, which actually makes it a bit more viable. And then the increased on Volatile Explosives was 14 yards to 20 yards. So Ball of Shot before was actually a pain in the ass to use because the explosion wasn't big enough. So it's 14 yards now instead of 7. I still don't use it though personally because the wait time, I don't like waiting for it to explode. I think it's stupid how it does that, and they should change it. It's I mean, yeah, I get it, the mechanic, it'd be really good if it wasn't like that, but I don't like it at all. It's really annoying. Chakram, they made it so it always fires a projectile regardless of distance if an enemy is targeted or if an enemy is targeted. I never noticed it didn't do that anyways, so that doesn't really change much for me. Companions, they've added a cooldown for some reason. I don't know if people are bugging something with it, but they have made a few companion changes. They've overall buffed them, it seems. Like they reduced the attack cooldown from 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds to 1 second. So it's 1.5 seconds to 1 second. So they attack a lot faster. They increase the damage by 8% base from weapon damage, but they can no longer critical hit. I'm pretty sure it was a DPS gain, hopefully. And then Companions damage now scales with attack speed. So yeah, it looks like they've overall just buffed their damage, because I guess they're pretty useless before. And then the Wolf Companions kind of has a survivability, kind of based on what zombie dogs get. So it's like they have kind of like they can't take more than 35% of their health in a single shot, pretty much. Same as zombie dogs, which is nice. I like that mechanic, so they stay alive a lot easier. I've never actually used the Wolf Companion, to be honest with you. It's not my favorite thing. I've tested out the ferrets. They're funny. They pick up gold for you. Try it out if you haven't. In terms of that, the other ones again have just been buffed with damage and things like that. Nothing too crazy. And then the Boar Companion now gives you 15% all resist. So I don't know if that's useful to any of you guys. I didn't find it useful because my all resist isn't that high, but who knows? It might be good for hardcore mode. Toss on the extra 15% resist. So yeah. In terms of everything else, Evasive Fire was kind of buffed. It's got like a hardened, increases your armor by 25% for 3 seconds, replaces the backflip. So you don't need to backflip anymore, which is nice. You can just use Evasive Fire and get 25% armor. But I mean, your armor base isn't that high anyway, so it's not a huge survivability increase. Everything else wasn't changed too much with that. Sentries have been buffed quite a bit, which I like. Well, technically, so they don't use Discipline anymore, they use Hatred, so you get them down with Hatred. They increase the damage by pretty much triple, from 55% to 175%, and now you can have 2 at once. So Sentries are really viable right now. On higher monster powers, I would definitely recommend using them. I have been, and they're pretty fucking awesome. I really like them. So obviously there's a cooldown on it, but you can still have 2 down at all times, and it's really nice. So it'd be interesting to try like a build with 2 sentries and maybe like a Boar Companion or something. It's like tanking for you a bit. Might be a cool little build. Who knows? And then Let's have a look. Sentries can no longer critical hit, but that doesn't matter because you have 2 of them and they do triple damage anyway, so they're doing crazy damage. And then they've obviously increased the runes to go with that. Like Spitfire does 30% instead of 8, which is nice. And then there's one that reduces a cooldown by 2 seconds, so if you just want to get him out really quickly, you can use that. And then Chain of Torment, the damage has been increased by 45%. Now Chain of Torment's actually pretty okay. I was testing it out earlier, and it's yeah, the tether kind of things can be really nice. So in terms of Shadow Power, base damage has been changed from 20% for 3 seconds to 15% for 5 seconds. So overall, you get less lifesteal, but it lasts longer. And I would personally rather have the 5% or 5 seconds, because obviously when you're using Gloom with Shadow Power, your damage reduction is up all the time. Now, obviously, the damage reduction is being reduced from 65%, but 65% was overkill. You keep yourself alive very well with 35% against most enemies, even on like monster powers like 7 and things like that. So, yeah. Other than that, nothing too much changed. They changed the movement speed rune, but I don't really use that anyways. So, traps have been changed a bit. They increased the explosion radius on Sticky Trap. Nothing else really. I mean, it's nothing too crazy. Strafe has been increased movement speed, hatred cost reduced, so it's buffed a bit. Nothing too insane. There's Ember Strafe, which leaves a trail behind you, 65% weapon damage. I haven't actually tested that yet, but I'm going to assume it's not going to be great at all. So, and then Vault, we all know. Trial of Cinders build is pretty much gone, which sucks, but I mean, it was, come on guys, it was pretty overpowered. Like, yeah, I mean, you could argue like saying, oh wow, we're still not as good as like Whirlwind Barbarians, but we're pretty fucking good. Trial of Cinders is overpowered, it's crazy. And now Vault gets you out of jail and stuff like that, which is nice. So yeah, can't complain. Custom Engineering, 3rd Sentry out at a time. I never even noticed that. That's awesome. I'm gonna try that out. I never even looked at that. So you can have 3 sentries out now with custom engineering, so that's pretty awesome. And then you can have 6 spike traps, which I did read. I just didn't read the 3rd sentry totem. That might be nice. Infernal Machine. 3 sentry totems going off at once. Yeah, let's try that. Numbing traps, reduction of traps to 20%. Nothing crazy. And then Perfectionist now gives you armor, life, and resistances, which is really nice. Maybe combined with the damage reduction turrets and the companion with the increased resistances, you can be pretty tanky with your Demon Hunter. I don't see why you would want to be, but you could try it out. Maybe something for hardcore. And then Thrill of a Hunt, nothing too different. Every 7 seconds, you root them with your Hatred Spender, which is okay, I guess, but I've never had to really use it. And everything else isn't, nothing else really. A couple bug changes, nothing exciting. But yeah, guys, that about covers it for the actual changes for the patch. Now, personally, I really like Demon Hunters right now. I think they're in a really comfortable spot. Along with most classes, I don't have much bad to say about any class at the moment. And I think Demon Hunters are, I mean, I've farmed out Paragon levels on all my characters now, and Demon Hunters are the fastest by a long shot. They're even faster than Whirlwind Barbarians. Reason being is you like pop into a room, you ball lightning twice, and then you vault right out, and that's it. You don't have to see those mobs again. If a legendary drops, you see it on your minimap. If yellows drop, it doesn't really matter, unless it was a ring, but, you know. So, in terms of efficiency, they're pretty fucking awesome. Survivability, they're awesome. Damage, they're awesome. Can't complain. Favorite class right now by a long shot. I even enjoyed it way more than my Whirlwind Barbarian. So, yeah, they're in a good spot. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you think it's they're in a good spot or not. I personally think they're awesome, so yeah. But yeah, guys, let's move on to future guides. Alright, and keep this short but sweet because we're running out of time here. This guide's getting pretty long, and I apologize for that, but apparently I can't keep guides short because I ramble like this. Anyway, so future guides are coming out. I got the Demon Hunter budget guide coming out on this Friday, possibly Thursday, depending on if I have time or not. And then I have the Wizard guides out next week to conclude the 1.0.5 kind of guides. So the budget guide will be out for Wizards next Friday as well. Well, not this Friday, next Friday. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, guys, it's going well, over 10k subscribers, so thank you guys very much for subscribing. I wouldn't be here without you guys, without your support and things like that, so thank you so much, guys, and I will see you all on Friday with the Demon Hunter guide. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Make a Twitter account and follow me if you haven't. I want to get loads of followers on that, and I want to keep you guys up to date. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I will see you later. Bye-bye.